Hi there, my name's Amy Alexander and I'm going to talk about Mrs. Crystal Foster's observation video where she was teaching a third grade math lesson. In the video, the children were using little bags of change and they were counting the change and comparing it with their partners and later with the class. Mrs. Foster began the lesson by modeling what she expected the students to do before she set them free to use their whiteboards. In the observation, there was only 14 students present in the room and the teacher. There weren't any other specialists visible. I think that overall the lesson would be a struggle for students with disabilities. The classroom arrangement is not conducive for easily moving around the classroom at all. The rows that all the desks are in make it really hard for anyone in a wheelchair or anyone using crutches to be able to move through the rows of the desks. And in the video, it looks like Mrs. Foster struggled a little bit to move around. Students in the back of the classroom have to look over several rows of heads to see what I'm assuming was a whiteboard. It didn't appear like she had a smartboard or any other technology in the front of the room. She did have a microphone, so students in the back of the room, maybe if they had a hearing impairment, could hear her, but she didn't seem to use it very often. I thought the classroom decor was a little bit cluttered and it wasn't arranged very well. The posters in the back of the room aren't visible to any of the children, including the one that had the different types of money and what I'm assuming were their amounts on them. The students would have to get up out of their seats, go to the back of the classroom to look at all the posters, so they definitely weren't helpful. The personal belongings of all the students were visible on the side of the room. I thought it looked a bit cluttered. So maybe a student that's in the autism spectrum would get bothered by all the posters in the back, the clutter on the side of the room, and it's maybe a bit nitpicky, but the desks didn't match. They were different colors, so hey, that may bother someone too. But at least the lighting in the room was good. I thought the lighting didn't distract. Everyone could see the teacher fine, besides the fact that the room was about this big. There weren't any open spaces where a student could work one-on-one with a teacher, though. It was just rows of desks. But the classroom did have some positives. I thought it was great that she did have her microphone to use if necessary, and it did appear to be isolated from sources of sound coming from the street, the hallway, or other classrooms. The children did have access to the whiteboards that they were using in the lesson, which could be used as a communication board or even for taking notes, or just if students learn better by writing down on a whiteboard, it would be very helpful for them. Overall, though, I think that Mrs. Foster is trying to make her classroom run as smoothly as she can, given how small it is. I don't think she really has a choice on how she can arrange her desks in this classroom. There's no large open areas. It doesn't look like there's any flexibility in there. Her materials and her decor in there were interesting and varied, but they definitely weren't accessible for students to look at. She didn't appear to have any special education equipment for students with disabilities in the classroom, but I'm not sure if that was necessary for her. But if it was necessary, I think that she would have a hard time fitting it all in that classroom. Overall, I think that Mrs. Foster will continue to improve her classroom to help support students with disabilities. I just wish the classroom was a little bit bigger for her. Thank you.